welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Trina Boice, and when you get a minute, now is a good time. Be sure and hit the subscribe button, and actually click on that little bell notification too while you're at it, and it'll notify you every time I've got a new video. And while you're at it, click the like button too. You know the drill. I really appreciate your support. So I am an author coach, and today I am bringing to you a fantastic author who has some great advice for other authors as we talk about writing books and publishing and marketing, that kind of stuff. But also, I want to dig deep into her topic, which I think you're going to find very interesting. So with that, let me introduce you to author Julie Ann Toomey. The applause, the crowd cheers, round of applause. Welcome.
Hi.
We're all going to pretend we're having a jungle safari because of your background and your cool
It's actually
outfit.
Monet. So like French. I don't know.
Oh.
There's a painter over here.
That's the real setting where he painted, not his painting. Yeah, beautiful. I love it.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive in. You've got a couple of really great books. Go ahead and show them to us, and then let's talk about this topic and how the books need to be.
Yes, my first one is Failure to Thrive, My Journey to Mental Health. And that one is kind of my autobiography. It's my story from the moment I had a mental breakdown and had to come home early from a trip that I was having till kind of when I moved to Texas and finally started healing. And my second one is Through the Eyes of a Friend. And it is a story about my friend and my relationship. She has committed suicide and my struggle with that and finding out about that and how hard that's been.
Yeah, and both of those are fantastic topics, especially nowadays with the pandemic still going on.
It's been really hard.
People are really struggling with depression, anxiety, stress. It's hard. And so share with us.
Suicide rates have gone up a lot.
Absolutely. It's heartbreaking. Share with us some tips of things that you've learned along your journey. What has helped you? And I know it's been a journey to heal.
It has been a journey. I started in junior high thinking I had depression, but not wanting to admit it, because I was of the opinion that if you had enough faith, you could get through it. And my mom was very much that kind of an advocate, and she's since changed and realized that it's okay to accept help. And I think my biggest advice for someone who's going through something like this would be accept help. Find someone who can help you, whether a friend, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. Therapy is not a bad thing. It's something that I think everyone should go through at one point or another in their lives.
I have a friend, and she'll go to a therapist every now and then when she feels like she really needs some additional support. And she says, I'm just going for my little tune-up,
Exactly.
I'm so glad that the very first thing that you're suggesting is to get the help, because I think for many, many years, there was a stigma. And I grew up with a father who said, suck it up and you just get through life and, whatever.
Exactly.
I kind of looked around at people around me who were struggling, and I thought, they need to suck it up,
Yeah. Well, and, I'm a medical assistant. I work in a family practice office, and people come in every single year for their physicals, but no one ever pushes mentals. I feel like that's a really big thing, is like, get your mental tune up too. You get your physical exam, you get all your blood work, you get all, you make sure everything's working right, but no one thinks about your brain. And there are a lot of things that could be going wrong with your brain, and not just emotionally and whatever, but physically. Depression can physically be a problem. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. I mean, it's not always just, oh, I'm sad. It's literally, there's no way for me to be happy. And that's that's when it becomes a huge problem.
I love your idea of having your maybe annual physical exam and
Exactly.
your annual
Exactly.
mental exam.
Exactly.
So I also have a twin sister, and she's a nurse practitioner, and she married into a family that has chemical imbalances. And I think partly because of watching her and her experiences with her in-laws, her parents, extended family, and now into her kids, we all now are very well aware that there is nothing wrong with needing medicinal support in addition
Exactly.
to physical or
Exactly.
a therapy with a
Yeah.
therapist and all
Well,
that.
and one of the things I talk about in my book is I have bipolar disorder, I have depression, I have anxiety, I've got some PTSD. I'm on 2 different medications, one for my bipolar, one for my anxiety and depression. And and I also take a substance called L-theanine every day to kind of increase that help. And that you can just find over the counter on Amazon. But it's okay to need medicine. It's okay. You wouldn't tell a diabetic that they shouldn't use their insulin or they shouldn't use their metformin.
Right. Or that they should just
be
suck it
okay
up,
with exactly. Like you should be okay with getting some medication for your mental disorders, and that should be okay.
So it took you a long time to get to the point where you would allow yourself to ask for help, but also it takes a while to play around with medications to see what might be the best.
It really does. I was diagnosed in 2011. I am finally this year on the correct medication.
Oh,
and
wow.
and I've only been on the right medication for my depression and anxiety for about a month and a half. And the bipolar medication, I was on the kind of the right one for years, and it was working, it was okay, and then it stopped working and I had to switch. And I realized with that switch that other medication wasn't working this whole time as well as it could have, because this new medication was working so much better. I am more patient with my kids. I am more patient with my husband. I'm more patient with myself. I feel like I'm a better coworker. I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. I'm just a better me. And that's okay. Is I needed those medications to be me.
Yeah. What was it that made you realize you needed a switch? Was it just the natural aging process and your body makes differences in your medication?
That was actually an accident. I forgot to take my medication for 5 days. And I had a 5-day weekend for whatever reason. I honestly can't remember. I had something going on, but I had a 5-day weekend off of work. And without that structure, without that rigid routine, I totally forgot to take my medication. And when I realized it, my brain was just going everywhere. And so I got back on it, and it just didn't feel right. And so I went back to my psychiatrist and I said, this doesn't seem to be working. And he's like, well, let's try this other one. And I was like, okay, we might as well try it, right? Yeah. And so we got me on that one, and I, slowly tapered up to the correct medication. You got to kind of slowly taper in or you're going to go crazy. But once I was on the right one, and once I got used to it, the difference was night and day, and it was incredible. But I have, as far as my depression goes, I've literally tried in the last 3 years about 8 or 9 medications. It's the guinea pig stage, and I think I'm finally out of that stage. But like I said, only a month and a half, so we'll find out. It's a hard stage, but it's one that you kind of have to push through.
So when you go for therapy visits or work with your psychiatrist, are you also working on like cognitive behavioral therapies, non-medicinal therapies?
Yeah, I have in the past. I'm not going to a psychologist right now, but I have seen one in the past, and they have helped me with the PTSD. They've helped me with some of the struggles that I was going through. One of the main themes in my book was my eating disorder. I didn't have anorexia or bulimia or whatever, the big ones, but I had a very adverse mindset when it came to food, because I just had a very bad reaction. Like people didn't like how I ate. And so it was my way of controlling my environment. And so I ate what I wanted, and I didn't care what they thought. And it was just, but it got worse with the more comments I got, the worse I felt like it got, And so, I've really had to get through that. And I feel like I'm finally, I'm 35 years old now, and I'm finally pushing past the problems that started at age 5 with, as far as the food goes. And it's really hard. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. And probably a lifetime struggle of, learning what works and what doesn't work. And
exactly.
So before I forget, I actually have a free gift for any of you watching that offers coping techniques, and for depression, anxiety, or stress. So you can go to FindingJoyToday.net and download that little PDF that I'll send you. And you can start trying the very different types of activities. Some of these techniques and strategies will work great for you, and maybe some of them don't. But the idea, like Julie Ann is saying, is, be open-minded, willing to try, because maybe there's something better out there that you didn't even know about that's worth trying, that could help you better than what you're doing right now. So FindingJoyToday.net. All right. So with that little commercial inserted in there, you actually also have a free gift for the audience.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know about Audible, but if you're new to Audible or you haven't signed up yet, I get my book. You can get it for free. It's The Failure to Thrive. And just get it on Audible. Your first book is free, and you can get it. And I think Trina will link the link in the below.
Yep, yeah. So look in the description below for links to both of those free gifts. You didn't know you were going to get 2 free gifts today. Yay! So in the second book, the topic is really your friend who committed suicide, which had to have been an emotional jolt. And I know that it was
really was
why you wrote the book. If there's somebody out there who is personally struggling with thoughts of suicide, or has a loved one who is struggling and has hinted at possibly committing suicide, what tips do you have for them?
My first one would be to call the suicide hotline. They are, personally, I've never called them because I've never had to, fortunately, but they are especially, they're specialists. They know what to do in that situation. And they know how to help you there. But as far as helping your friend, keep an eye out. Know what they're going through. Ask them how they're doing. Have awkward conversations, because sometimes asking people how they're really doing can be awkward, but it's so necessary, because I had texted my friend just 6 days before she died, and I had no idea. I don't even know if she did at that point. It was kind of a hard situation where she found out some really, really, really bad news and just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
But she, she had been struggling for years, and I didn't know how to help her, and I talk about it in the book, and I do go over, some things that you can do, but it is really hard. And the best advice for me to give you is to just get that help. Really, if you suspect someone is suicidal, get them help, whether they want it or not. you need to get them help. And if you are suicidal, please get help, because you don't know how many people are going to be hurt by your death. You don't. When she passed, and I put it on my Facebook feed, and I told everyone, I had just storms of people messaging me going, no, please don't tell me it's wrong. And I said, I have to say it wasn't. And it was just so many people. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I knew her. Oh my gosh, you know. And they had a GoFundMe account raised, and it raised $1,000 within the first like couple hours.
Wow.
Because people loved her so much, and she hadn't been able to see that. And that's really my biggest thing is, you don't know the kind of impact you're making until you can't see it anymore. I'm sure that everyone who commits suicide immediately regrets it, but you can't take that back. You can't regret it so badly it goes away. It's not something that just goes away. You can't take that back. And it's a very permanent thing, and it will impact people for the rest of their lives, and they'll always be hurt by that.
And that's a good reminder to all of us that when we love someone, or have friendships, to let them know,
Yes.
Hey, I really appreciate what you did, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, you really inspired me when you said blah, blah, blah. Little compliments to let people know that they are touching your life. And I don't know why people hesitate sharing compliments.
Don't wait.
Like that.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. Yeah.
Because you never know what they're going through. Please compliment people. Even if it's some random person in the restaurant or the grocery store.
That's
if
true.
you like their shirt, tell them you like their shirt. If
I
you
do
like
that
their
all the
hair,
time.
tell them you like their hair. They
And
have a
for
really pretty
girls,
smile. Tell them.
Yeah.
Make it, if it's awkward, make it awkward. It's okay. Because honestly, that can make someone's day. That can make someone's life.
It really can. And we don't know what people are going through. And people put that fake smile on. Of course, now a lot of times, most of us are covered up with masks.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But still, you don't know what's going on in people's personal lives. People post stuff on social, and that's their best light, happy. And then in reality, terrible things could be happening in their personal life. And so again, it's so important to just reach out, touch base, and share those compliments. Well, what a great inspiration you are for all of us, that whatever the situation is, if it's your own personal mental health issues, or struggling with a friend who's threatening or hinting at suicide, the answer for both of those issues is to get help, to not suffer in silence. I think all of us are trying to get through this life the best that we know how, and we really should just be there to support each other, because we never know what demons people are fighting. We never know what's going on in their personal life, and so just to calm down and show love and be kind, right?
Yeah. And no, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. And again, be sure and click down below, grab the free gifts, and you can also reach out to Julie Ann if you need additional support. I think you're starting a coaching program, aren't you?
I am going to be. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll only be focusing on women, but I will be starting my own coaching program.
Yeah, so if you want to ask her more specifics on medication that she's tried and what works, what doesn't, knowing fully well that everybody's body is different, but other supportive tips, strategies, all of that, feel free to reach out to Julie Ann. So thank you for sharing your inspiration. And
I do.
Oh, hey, wait, I totally forgot before we say goodbye. There's another book we haven't even talked about.
True. That's true.
That is the one that you've got going on, a fiction book on Amazon Kindle's Vella. Tell us the name about that and what Vella is all about.
So Vella is a serialized kind of publication. like they used to do back in the old days, you know, in the newspaper, you'd put in just a chapter at a time or a scene at a time or whatever. And the first 3 episodes are free. And then after that, it's however it costs tokens that you can buy off of Amazon. And however many words it is costs however many tokens. So 1 token per 100 words. And you can just read as it goes. And I'm publishing once a week, 1 episode a week. And it's called Guardian of the Prince. It's my Deception by Magic first book. So it's a trilogy. So yeah, and you can actually make comments and say, hey, I'd love to see this. Hey, I'd love to see these 2 people to get together, or, you know, whatever. Yes. And the author can actually take those into advisement. So that's kind of cool.
It's super cool. And it's also super new. So if you're like, where have I been? You haven't missed it. I mean, it's new.
It's within the last couple months. So
yeah. And there are lots of genres on there. So take a peek. Definitely take a look at Julie Ann's as well. It's kind of a cool new thing. And the best feature, I think, is having the audience be able to offer suggestions and interact with the actual author. That's pretty unique. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that one too. You are full of lots of stuff going on. Thank you so much.
I do have lots of stuff going on.
That's awesome. All right. Well, all of you, thank you for spending a few minutes, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.